The concept of happiness comes in two forms, in my opinion. You have your short-term happiness, the sort of smiley happiness, and that's what I'm going to call it. And you've got long-term fulfillment, which I'm going to call true happiness from now on. Your smiley happiness is your in-the-moment happiness. It's that initial rush that feels like you're on top of the world for that moment. It's the laughter, you guessed it, smiles, and that initial dopamine hit that you get when anything pleasurable happens to you. I'm sure you can pinpoint a moment where you've been fundamentally unhappy, but for a certain period of time you felt really good, really happy. It may be a 2-minute period where someone's just cracked a great joke and you're laughing, you're smiling, and you're happy for that time. It could be an 8-hour period where you feel like you've just had a really good day, but deep down you're not actually fulfilled, you're not content, and you wouldn't say you're truly happy. True happiness, on the other hand, is an underlying feeling of fulfillment and contentment with yourself and your life. I'm very conscious to point out those two words, fulfillment and contentment. Fulfillment suggests striving for more, striving for progress, striving to be better. And contentment suggests an underlying happiness and comfort of where you are at the moment, a certain appreciation for what you've got in the present moment. But let's put a pin in those for a moment. I'm likely to come back to those in another video. Often I feel we strive for happiness like it's an attainable goal. We associate it with success, we associate it with objectives and achieving goals, and we make it seem like it's where we want to be in the future. It's the idea that once you get to a certain point, that making it to that point is what will make you happy. It's definitely considered a thing to be gained instead of an underlying characteristic of your lifestyle, your personality, and yourself inside that requires introspection and self-understanding to achieve. You can take Tyson Fury as a perfect example of this. He believed that his purpose, what would make him happy, was to become heavyweight champion of the world. That was his overwhelming goal of his life. And he achieved it. Fantastic achievement at 27 years old. After he did achieve it, he lost all sense of purpose and fell into a deep, deep depression.
I had a drive, I had a goal to achieve. So I used to put it all to me back in my mind. But when that goal was achieved, then I had nothing to look forward to. Then it all come flooding out. Then I had a mental breakdown.
So his striving to achieve happiness through achieving one overwhelming goal was met with the opposite. People try to solutionize happiness, and ironically I've done it myself, but not quite in the same black and white way. There's this sort of understanding that you do one thing and a certain amount of happiness will pop out from that as if it's just a sort of measurable thing. And to be honest, I think that's primarily that short-term smiley happiness I was talking about at the start. You get that initial burst of happiness, but what comes from associating these goals with the idea of being happy is that you give yourself the opportunity to achieve those goals and not be happy. And that can drive you into a state of actually depression or incredibly low mood, the opposite of what you were striving for and exactly what Tyson Fury experienced. Long-term fulfillment comes from introspection and self-understanding. It's the cliche of all cliches. It's about the journey, not the destination. Fundamentally, a happy life is not a singularity. It's not a random point selected from some time in your life, and if you are happy at that point, that's your overwhelming happiness score. That's not what it's about. How ridiculous would that be? Instead, it needs to be looked at as an average across your whole life, an underlying characteristic. And those short-term happiness moments, it's not what makes your life happy. It's the long-term contentment averaging out across your whole lifespan that's the most important thing. So striving for that one single short-term happiness over a long period of time is flawed. And to be honest, striving for happiness in general is flawed. But putting yourself in situations that can improve your overall contentment or fulfillment with your life isn't. If you want to find out what I think are the best steps to take to move yourself towards that longer term happiness and feeling more fulfilled and content with your life, then check out my video on intrinsic values that you'll see in the top right hand corner of your screen. If you did enjoy this video, consider liking and subscribing to the Unfold channel, and leave a comment to let me know what you think about happiness and generally what you do to try and be more content and fulfilled within your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.